Television, I mean, is, to my mind, the most insidious drug that the 20th century has had to deal with. And, you know, it is a drug. It's the first of the electronic drugs, and its impact, if it were heroin, people would be alarmed. I mean, that people are, on average, watching 6 hours a day of TV. And I don't even think it's a content problem. I think television itself is toxic. It's not how many murders you witness. It's the actual this is what McLuhan was always trying to say, that people couldn't understand what he meant when he said that the medium was the message. The message is not the message. The medium was the message. And the effects it had, I mean, we have millions of people who are warehoused in almost a larval state in their apartments, watching TV, paying for their medical plans, and glued to this mindless opera of cultural decay that is recited day after day in front of them. I mean, it's horrible to imagine. And this is, you know, a creation to some degree of the world corporate state that probably has to be addressed. Yeah.
There's a wonderful book that's just come out called Media Virus by Douglas Rushkoff that addresses this problem really very well. Have you read that?
I haven't read that. I know Doug. His other book, Siberia, is a nice look at cyber culture. Yeah, interesting.
What do you think is going to happen with this video, TV, whatever?
I think that the most important cultural event happening right now is the rise, the explosive growth of the internet and the web. I mean, the idea that with my $1,200 PowerBook, I can access 3,000 computers around the planet by just plugging into a telephone jack is staggering. I mean, this is a revolution of orders of magnitude, and that has happened completely invisibly. Nobody's windows had to be rocked out, and no camps had to be established. Nothing appears to have changed. The people who are not switched on don't even know anything has happened. To them, the world looks exactly like it looked 5 years ago. To the people who are switched on, Earth is becoming a distant memory of the internet.
Yes.
Well, the internet is the global brain, the cyber-spatially connected, telepathic, collective domain that we've all been hungering for. I mean, it is so powerful, and it has arisen with incredible speed and by a very insidious fashion. I mean, first of all, as I mentioned last night, the internet was originally called ARPANET. It was the Advanced Research Projects Agency. It was this super secret military industrial thing that they wanted to survive a thermonuclear attack. And so they designed it to be unkillable. It has no central switching zone. If you blow up a part of it, it just flows around the part you blow up. It is unkillable. So that was ARPA. And now it's become public domain, and it's incredibly empowering for any minority because you can find your peers. It doesn't matter what you're into. You know, you can play the Shania and join the Shania playing society. So no matter how eccentric your interest, you can find common ground out there. Then the other thing is information that, I'm not kidding you, 10 years ago, the director of the CIA sitting at his desk in Langley, Virginia, didn't have the information processing capacity that you now have plugging into your PowerBook at any phone jack in the world, because these databases are there. And if you know how to surf the net if you know how to program your no-bots so that while you're sleeping, they're sorting through and visiting various sites and downloading and looking, you cannot believe what's out there. I mean, the entire planet has been turned into a local telephone call. And not only, not to talk to people, but to talk, when you go on to the NCSA main page in Batavia, Illinois, it says available resources. You click on that, and 1,500 computers come on, the names of them, and you just point and click, and now you're talking to that computer. And it tells you that the really interesting thing is being stored on another computer, not in Madrid, but in Singapore. And you point and click. Now you're talking to the main menu in Singapore. You go out onto the net. In the course of an hour of moving on the net, you may circle the planet 10 times and talk to 50 computers all over the world. And you're downloading files and you're tracing your path so that you can go back. And this is happening. It's been happening for quite some time. 30 million people are out there. And because it requires literacy and technology and money, those 30 million people probably are probably only 10% of the people who rule the planet are not on that net. And it's where the cultural architecture is being put in place now. And it's this invisible space, which is where we should have been building all the time. So I think this is the doorway into the new dimension into which we're going, and that these technologies, put in place for no reason other than to facilitate bank transfers and do incredibly mundane things, are turning out to be the seeds of our electromagnetic body in hyperspace.